What's up, everybody? Welcome to Theory Unlocked, the Gamerz Theory podcast, where we bring you the latest news, developer interviews, and a whole lot more. And a big topic of the show today as well. I'm Drew Bosley, of course. Joining alongside me is my good buddy, Michael Fisher. Fish, what's up, dude?
Oh, not much. Right before we went live, got a big reveal trailer that I'm definitely excited to talk about. And then, yeah, as you said, I think we're almost at the halfway point of the year, so why not we look back at 2026 as a whole for gaming, and we're going to talk about that. I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. Dude, I was going to hit you with that pregnant pause right at the very beginning, and then I thought, nah, maybe I'll do it later. Let's get into what's happening. Here's the rundown for today's show. We're going to get into the news. What Michael's going to be talking about is the Modern Warfare 4 reveal. That's right. Witcher 3 for me, though, is getting some new DLC. That's an internet. Dude, I can't believe this shit. We'll see how that goes. Of course, we're going to get into what we've been playing. Topic of the show is a good one. We're going to be getting into the biggest games of 2026 and then predicting the game of the year. That's going to be a tough one. But is it? Ooh. And of course, we always end off with the indie spotlights, where we feature one indie developer, one indie team, one indie game each and every episode from each of us. So, Michael, let's get into the news, dude. You're first on the dock, so why don't you kick it off?
Yeah, right before we started recording, so it'll be a day old by the time we go live, right? It is the Modern Warfare 4 reveal trailer came out. I got notifications from a couple of my friends. I'll be honest, I'm a big Call of Duty guy. I did not play Black Ops 7. We, I know on the site, we did not give it a good review. That was not me, because I saw the review and was like, nope, I am out. And I also do not like the Black Ops franchise, so that was an easy no for me. Excited to see, of course, first reveal trailer, all CGI, Drew. You and I hate it, but there was nothing there, right? Couple of character reveals, right? Price is back, Ghost is back. Like, again, if you're the kind of guy who plays the campaign, you might like that. Again, for me, I just want to see where's our setting. It looks like maybe North Korea, potentially, which I thought was sort of an interesting twist for the franchise. But again, I'm just excited. We're going back to Modern Warfare. We're not renaming things, Drew. We were talking about this, right? Because we've already had Modern Warfare 2, number 2, Modern Warfare 3, number 2. But this is going to be Modern Warfare 4, the first of its kind. And I'm excited to see October 23rd, exactly what we would expect for Call of Duty for that release date. There's a DMZ first look promised for June 7th. I don't know anyone who actually plays DMZs, so I'll be curious to see when we get real information, for me personally, about the multiplayer, what that's going to look like. Are we going to get a beta, right? Again, I'm very interested to see. You and I are also talking, right? It was on Game Pass last year. Now Call of Duty's back off Game Pass.
Yeah.
Again, as a Call of Duty guy, I'm just excited and nervous because it feels like we're reaching. It's been going on like a small decline for a while. Last year, it felt like we kind of fell off a cliff, Drew. So I'm curious to see if Modern Warfare, maybe the more iconic franchise, maybe starts that climb back up again.
Yeah, no, for sure. Without a doubt, it's man, taking it off of Game Pass, they had to figure out how to decrease the price, right? They upped the price. They're like, now we're going to decrease it. Why? Well, we took Call of Duty off. At the end of the day, I'm no longer a Call of Duty guy. I don't have time to play Call of Duty. I don't have the interest to play Call of Duty either, right? I'm not the multiplayer guy to play that kind of game mode. Too fast for me, too twitchy, forget it. I'm out. So I always gravitated more to the campaign side of things. So now that it's not on Game Pass, dude, I won't touch it. Straight up. I'm just not going to touch it. Well, I would have bounced in for Game Pass, but because it's not coming there, man, you lost me altogether. And I wonder how many others are in the same boat that I am. If it's not there, I'm not going to go spend $80 on Call of Duty and then have it risk the last year's events of being a horrible, right, version of what we fans really wanted. So I don't know. I think if you're into Call of Duty, congratulations. Here's more Call of Duty. Like, what else do you expect? Will we ever take a break of Call of Duty?
I mean, I don't think so. And as much as people meme on it, right?
Oh, yeah.
You look at the sale charts at the end of every year, it's always the games that we shit talk, right? Call of Duty, Madden, NBA 2K, right? Like, these are the best-selling games to the general gaming audience. So no, I don't think so. I mean, I'd be curious maybe if we had like multiple Black Ops 7-esque releases in a row, maybe people finally stop playing. I think really, Drew, I mean, you know, not to add a third news topic, but you and I both talked about it, right? With the Steam Deck prices. I think the reason Call of Duty ever dies is if people just get priced out of gaming altogether. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, no, we're going to get Call of Duty, Madden, NBA 2K every year until you know, we have the inevitable heat death of the universe, it feels like.
That's fair. Do you ever see it getting in the Game of the Year discussion? Because it's never been there.
No. I mean, maybe I think you could say like the Modern Warfare 2s, the COD 4s back in the day, pre-Game Awards. I think you could maybe say had an argument, but I just think it's so hard for apologies to the yous of the world, Drew, who play the campaign. It's a multiplayer priority game, right? And I just don't think a multiplayer game is ever going to win Game of the Year because your experience is never shaped by yourself. It's shaped by who you're playing with. And so I don't think we'll ever see it. Maybe best multiplayer is the best it'll get.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Dude, we got a big shocking one, though, this week. The Witcher 3, not 4, stick with me. The Witcher 3 is getting DLC 12 years after its release. What the hell is happening? We've heard about this for so long. But yeah, we're getting Songs of the Past. It is coming 2027 is what they're gearing for. And the idea of this expansion is going to be a sizable expansion from what I've heard as well. That is going to bridge the gap between 3 and 4. You're going to have Geralt finally pass the baton over to Ciri and have that understanding. Michael, I never finished The Witcher 3. It is a juggernaut title. It is a huge... We talked about it not too long ago on this show of our backlog of games, and definitely this is one of those on the backlog list of, can I get to it? I'd love to. Probably never going to happen, though. So, can I jump in here at the latest DLC, Songs of the Past, kind of get a refresher, and then branch and get ready for the 4th one? I'm hoping... But there's so much I'm going to miss out not playing 3 and then the DLCs as well before all that, right? So before we get into the latest one, because it comes off, I think it's called Blood and Wine. It's been a while since I've...
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I think it takes off after that. Whole new region. I'm like, damn it. Awesome for those who are right into The Witcher. It's the time sink that I've been talking to a friend of mine lately about, you know, how we're gaming and things like this. It's just... Where do you divide your time? How do you play your games? And just because of the nature of what we do here, I'm really limited to start with. And then the stuff we're reviewing, right, is just, it's just one of those complicated matters for us over here. But for everybody who's played The Witcher 3, man, congratulations. I'm excited. I want to check it out too, because I want to get ready for 4. I don't want to miss out 4, Michael. I always want to be there for the newest one. I'm ready. I don't know if I could go back again. It would be like the 4th time for me to go back to try and play this. I'm like, I don't think I can do it, man. I think the controls at this point, dude, they're 12 years old. They feel old. They feel clunky, right? Can you kind of get over top of that hurdle? Yeah, not with so much going on, I think, in my world. What's your hype level for the latest DLC coming?
I'm kind of with you. I think we may have even talked about this on a show. If not, it was just between you and I, right? It's so hard when DLC or an expansion comes out to get back and, you know, kind of ramp things up. And that's even usually when a DLC is like 6 months to a year, right? 12 years later, as you mentioned. I think I'm going to maybe just probably check out some highlights, right? Kind of catch up to the story. I'm with you. I don't want to miss Witcher 4. I played the... Witcher, I never beat Blood and Wine. That's kind of where I tapped out. Was like, okay, there's just too much going on here. So yeah, I think maybe, but it's gonna depend a lot on what's coming out around that time. But I think for me personally, maybe I'll catch up with the story. I'll watch somebody else's playthrough, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm good to go for Witcher 4. Because yeah, it's so hard to spin back up into expansion DLC mode for me. And this is 12 years later. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it because I'm gonna be so lost. I'm like, I don't remember anyone. You know, I don't remember anyone besides the main character. I don't remember besides Geralt and Ciri. Where was I? What was I doing? So yeah, I don't think it's the DLCs for me. But Witcher 4, like you said, I'm not missing that one.
No, for sure. Dude, let's get into what we've been playing, because we've been playing a couple things, that's for sure, because we're reviewing right now and working on a couple guides for 007 First Light. That's majority of where I've been spending my gaming time. That's what I'm working on between working on the show and other things for this, and then for the website itself and all that kind of stuff. So big time right now into that. No impressions yet, Michael, as we got a big episode coming up next week where we are going to dive deep into 007 First Light, and we're going to have a guest with us as well. So I'm looking forward to that one. Still dabbling a little bit in Road to the Show for MLB The Show as well. Dude, just every once in a while, I'm like, man, I got to get my baseball on. Let's go grind my character some more. I'm still sitting in AA. I'm like, man, I got to go through AAA still to get even a chance of getting into the majors. It's just, yeah, it's going to, by time MLB The Show 27 comes out, I may have made it to the majors. We'll see how long that we'll see how that goes. And then my kid has me still going away on Forza Horizon 6 as we ventured over to Japan. Dude, what a game. What a game. I saw Scott grabbed it the other day from our team as well. He's been having a good time hanging out in the world of Forza Horizon 6. And, you know, shout out to Playground Games, man. They're a busy studio this year. There's a lot riding on the next one for them. And we're going to be talking about their next title here in a little bit. Michael, what do you want to play?
Well, like you said, 007 First Light, gonna be hopping in, gonna check that one out. Cannot wait to see. I've heard some good things. Again, secondhand. So I'm excited to get our art on it. And as you said, next week we'll have a full breakdown of everything that's going on with that one. Keen to hear a little bit with this one. You know, as you know, maybe we've kind of given away, right? We record these on Thursday, we release them on Friday. So on Friday, the Path of Exile 2 new season will be coming out. So I will definitely want to make sure I'm checking out that. Big ARPG guy. I love Diablo. Unlike some people, right? I don't hate both games. I'm definitely going to check it out. I've got buddies who love PoE 2. I know I'm already behind because they've been planning everything out, but I still think it's one of those games that's just nice to play. You hop in for a few weeks, about a month, and then, all right, I'll wait for the next season to come out. And then an indie title, I think I spotlighted it on the website a few weeks ago, Teamfight Manager 2, the sequel to Teamfight Manager came out. And I'm not usually a sim guy, right? I usually can't I'm not just looking at spreadsheets. You know, it's not fun for me, but my buddies and I have been really eating this game up, right? It's you're basically managing your own League of Legends team. It's been a lot of fun. You know, it's people who play League of Legends know how toxic the game is. So it's nice to be able to step back and kind of just yell at your AI as opposed to yelling at your real teammates. So it's just been one of those games, you know, you sit back, you talk around with your friends and just have a lot of fun without being too focused in on a game. You don't have to, you know, you can have something else on the second monitor, but it's been a lot of fun to play. But I'm really excited for 007 First Light. I think the next week we're going to have quite the show.
No, dude, I can't wait to talk about it. I've been holding him back. I've been talking to Scott about it a little bit, actually, because he's asked a couple questions, and I kind of filled him in about it. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about. If you haven't seen the Metascores, well, the Metacritic scores are high, so let's just go with that. But, dude, let's get into our topic of the show. Is 2026 the best year in gaming? And we're going to start to predict the game of the year as we're roughly about the halfway mark. Next week, we're leading into the whole Summer Game Fest event, and we're going to see Xbox Showcase. We're going to see PlayStation State of Play come around next week as well, which I'm excited for, which apparently is going to be really big. So let's get into this year's games. So far, this is what's dropped and have done incredibly well, right? 007 First Light, we were just talking about that one. Another one we can't, you have to mention is Crimson Desert. I think it took the world by storm. It's been a divisive game between certain individuals, right? Some are either all over it or some are just hating on it. I think a lot of them for the sake of just hating. But there's something there to be said. But if you're in there for the story, you're missing, I think, the overall point and scope of that game. Forza Horizon 6 is another one that's definitely in that conversation. Ghost of Yote, which is a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, which then, is funny enough, 6 months goes by, they drop Legends 2, which is their co-op component for it, and a month in, dude, they're done supporting it. I'm like, ooh, that one kind of sucks. This one you brought up is Slay the Spire 2.
Yeah, I mean, Slay the Spire, one of the most iconic games. The sequel has been absolutely awesome. I mean, kind of like we were talking about with Ghost of Yote, right? Multiplayer added in from day one, which has just kind of changed the game completely, right? Couple of new classes as well. I think they're still adding things. It's not like an early access title, but there is one of those. It was sort of the, hey, buy the game. We're going to make sure we're keep patching stuff. We're still supporting it. So there's still a lot more to come there. This one, though, Drew, I know you've been all over, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, speaking of early access, Windrose, dude, this is the pirate game that Skull and Bones should have been. Straight up. This is what it should have been. And damn, Is it good? It is. It's hard. Don't get me like, yeah. If you're a Souls fan, this kind of will definitely speak to you. I know it pisses my brother right off, but it's also somewhat forgiving because as you go out, you hack and slash your way at some of these enemies. They kill you. You come back. Their health is dropped and stayed at that point, right? So you're not having to refight that whole battle unless it's a boss fight. The boss fight is just it's fucking horrendous. But it's just us getting better, leveling up, getting good. But more early access. Subnautica 2. Dude. Wow. Have they really kind of blown up with this one? Like I figured it was going to be good. I have yet to jump in. Have you jumped in?
No, I'm waiting. I've got a couple buddies because it's on Game Pass, I believe. I'm trying to get a couple buddies because they, it is very, the full early access train is out with this one. We can be honest about that, right? You're paying for content you might not get for 5+ years. So I've got a couple buddies. I'm like trying to convince them about the Game Pass value now that the price has gone down because it's on Game Pass. I'm like, let's get Game Pass. Let's check it out. I think you even get a few months of Game Pass for free if you have Discord Nitro. So maybe I'm even pushing them that way. Like, hey, cut like $10 for Discord Nitro. We'll get Game Pass free for a couple months. We'll play Subnautica 2. But no, I want to check it out. But it's a game, Drew. I need some buddies. I don't think I would enjoy this game solo, so I'm trying to push for some buddies to play with.
Absolutely. I think it is meant to be played together, which is kind of where the Windrose thing hits for me as well. I played it solo. It was okay solo. But once my brother joined in, it was just a whole different game, right? We're just hanging out, goofing around, having a good time. I'm building a base while he's off doing something, and he's like, "Are you gonna come help me?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm building a staircase right now." So, yeah, it's one of those games, right? Resident Evil Requiem. I call it Requiem for some reason. It's Requiem. It just gets me every time. But that one took over. If you're a Resident Evil fan, I know you're eating that up right now. It's the best in the series, I think, for Capcom as far as numbers go. And then another shocking one from Capcom is Pragmata.
Yeah.
Man, we reviewed it on the site. Samara was on the site for us and took care of that one. She had a great time. But I think it was a shocking one for a lot of people.
Yeah, that was one where there was like a sort of a following around it, right? And you didn't really know if it was either going to be good or kind of flop, and it's definitely been really good. It's kind of we talked about it a couple shows ago, right? Our backlog, and Pragmata definitely on my backlog. I'll never put Resident Evil there. You and I have talked about it. We are not horror guys. I do not need jump scares. I do not need any of that. But I can still say that from what I've seen, I know Resident Evil is going to be a force this year. I think still the best-selling game of this year so far, I believe, just barely edging out Crimson Desert. So that speaks volumes because I don't think it's going to hold on that title for very long, Drew, because, of course, anytime we talk Game of the Year, there's that 3-letter word coming up in November that we have to say. Basically locked, right? I mean, we're going to get into our Game of the Year. Like, this is like Sharpied in basically as long as it comes out.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. A lot of people still saying predictions of delayed, but they're not saying anything about a delay. They're actually saying they're locked in for November 19th with GTA 6. That's the one you're alluding to. It is, yeah. Like, so here's where you start to feel a little bad, though, Michael, because you have 007 First Light, which should be in that conversation, right? Like, that kind of gives you where I'm at with the game and with the industry overall. And then you have Crimson Desert. You have Forza Horizon. I honestly don't think Ghost of Yotei was going to hit that. Well, we'll talk about that more in a second. Another one, too, I forgot before. We'll circle back to GTA here 6 in a second. Is Replaced. This is the indie title that a lot of people have been waiting for and dove in. And a lot of people are really, really loving it, right? But yeah, let's get into that whole GTA 6 conversation, Michael, where it's going to take the industry by storm. It's going to likely sweep categories, right? Like there's always that one title. Like look at last year, dude. It was it's the French studio. What am I going blank on there, Michael?
Expedition 33.
Yes, thank you. Yes. It took everything. Literally everything from categories to all the Game of the Year awards. It was theirs to own. From a small studio, a very small studio with a very small budget when you compare it to everything else, but nothing compares to Rockstar and their budget of $1 billion and the money they're going to make back in one day of $1 billion+, right? It's just gonna eat up everything. It was funny. I think maybe Scott posted it in our Discord or over on our Facebook page. But it was like, how many people calling in sick on November 19th? Right? Like,
yeah, maybe half the world, right? I mean, it's. I think the only thing with GTA, and the more I've thought about this, is, and I'd be curious how you're the Game Awards. I don't know how you handle this, right? When I looked it up, it looks like November 21st is usually the final deadline to nominate a title, right? Like that's kind of the title has to release by then to nominate it.
yeah.
That's only going to be 2 days of GTA, right? And as you and I've talked about, right, they're not doing previewer codes because they don't want leaks. And so I wonder if there's almost this world where it's like we can't do GTA 6 because no one could have experienced the game in 48 hours to know if it's good or not, right? Like there's no like, oh, I beat the game, I played the whole game. So that's kind of one that is interesting to me is like the hype alone might carry GTA 6. I don't think it's going to be bad, but I just wonder if there's this world where it's like, you don't know if it's best score because you played for 5 hours. You probably haven't even heard half of it, right? Or best lighting or whatever, right? So that's kind of one where I think it is interesting how close it is to the deadline. But yeah, I mean, Sharpie it in for every nominee it can get. It probably, as you said, is going to win. I don't, off the top of my head, know the record for awards won by a single game. I think
was
it's
last
Expedition
year.
33.
Yeah, it was.
GTA probably breaks it as long as there's enough categories it can be nominated in, right? Like I think that's the only limiting factor. I mean, yeah, it's GTA unless it gets delayed, right? Because you're supposed to get a pre-order announcement, and we didn't get our third trailer. Maybe, which by the way, I completely missed this, Drew. Supposed to come out 2 days ago, by the way.
Yeah, so
That was the original release date. It was 2 days ago. I completely missed it until I saw somebody talking about it. I was like, I did not realize it should have already been out.
dude, the clickbait articles were live and on fire that day, right? I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't want us, at least for our team, to worry about the clickbait bullshit. It's not something we focus on here, right? We rather get you to inform you with what you want to know. But yeah, a lot of people jumped all over that clickbait. Today should have been GTA 6 day, and I kind of just, my wife even brought it up to me. And I laughed, shook my head, and walked away. Like, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it is what it is, and it's just gonna be such an interesting, because like you say, nobody's getting review codes. They came right out and said, we're not sending this out early because people will just leak it. And Rockstar has had enough issues this year and last alone trying to make sure that this stays under wraps, that they're not risking anything. So yeah, how do you review a game in 2 days? I'll tell you right now, you don't. That's not how it works, right? Unless the game's 4 hours long, that's not humanly possible. And especially as something this year's scope of GTA 6. With it being out on the 19th, the award nominees on the 21st, does this just put GTA out of that conversation altogether then? Because then, this really then opens up everything for everybody, right? First of all, Rockstar, I saw an article actually that Rockstar, or at least Strauss Zelnick, came out and said, the reviews do matter. Fuck off. They do not.
Not for GTA, right? Every other game, yes, not for GTA. You and I talked about it, right? No one in this world is waiting for a GTA 6 review to buy the game. You are buying the game day one, you're waiting for a PC release, or you're not buying the game. There are 3 camps. Yeah. There is no middle ground with GTA 6.
No, not at all. So how do they?
I just you can't be taken seriously though is the problem, right? Like if you're the Game Awards, GTA 6 is going to set records among records that might only be broken by GTA 7 in 20 years based off their release timelines.
Yeah.
Like you will not be taken seriously if GTA isn't considered. It's a lose-lose in my opinion for the Game Awards, right? You have to put GTA 6 in, but it'll be in there basically off hype alone. Again, a little bit of gameplay, but again, 2 days of gameplay. There might be people who have 48 hours played in 2 days. I won't deny that.
Yeah, sure.
But not the critics who are voting, right? I mean, so it's a lose-lose. I think you have to put it in, but I kind of would be with you. I almost wish we could just say, all right, GTA is great. We want to do a non-GTA, like almost like the runner-up, but then that feels bad. Because, yeah, I think it would be a great debate if you just didn't have GTA 6 in to see who is actually Game of the Year.
Okay, so here's how the Game Awards work, is that the nominees are done by the industry itself, right? The media, us, right? Those who are involved and been around as long as me and you and other outlets and stuff like that. So that's where it comes down to. And if we're not getting codes, IGN's not going to get a code. GameSpot, like none of the big outlets, Kotaku, whatever. I don't think they like Kotaku, but that doesn't matter. It's just one of those. Nobody in our industry is going to be able to review this in 48 hours. They'll get, here's our first impressions, but then you can't even base that off of a game of the year discussion. Then can you? That's not legit. No. Nobody can do that. So, yeah, it's going to be. There's got to be some pretty good discussions at some of these bigger outlets than ours. Like, what do we do to cover this? How many people? How many codes? Nobody getting codes? Shit, we're going to get one code the day of release, and then everybody else is going to go buy it. Well, welcome to the rest of us, right? We're all just going to go buy the game and then figure it out from there. And then, hey, Michael, you got this. I got this. Scott's got that. Samara's working on this, right? Like, it's just, this is where we're going to be.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Then does that really just eliminate GTA 6?
I think logically you're 100% spot on. I just don't think the Game Awards, if it wants to be taken seriously by the public, like the Twitch chat will be out of control if GTA 6 is not nominated. It will just be spammy. It'll probably have to be set to emote only in the first 30 seconds. And that's, I think, the problem is if you want the public to take the Game Awards seriously, which I think they do. I don't think they just want it to be like, only us industry members patting each other on the back. I think you have to include GTA 6 because, again, it's going to be the best-selling game of all time. It's going to have, half the world, maybe, population buying it at some point. Like, it feels like everyone who owns any sort of console is like, yeah, I want to play GTA 6. Like, I want to play it. So, it's a tough spot. I think, logically, Drew, I don't think you can include it, but I think if you're the Game Awards, I almost think, it has to be included to be viewed as legitimate.
Okay, so then let's look at it this way. Say they don't include it. That means it's excluded from next year as well. Because it's then not in the year 20. So GTA 6 is just out of the conversation altogether, dude.
That can't happen. Either you've got to give it to them this year or you've got to give it to them next year. Maybe you move the nomination date up and you say, if it's got to be November 14th, right? And then, GTA is eligible for next year. We'll praise you, in the next year, right? But yeah, I think this is a big conversation that I think a lot of people just kind of penciled it in. But the more you think about it, you're like, how do you not? You're nominating based off hype. I mean, there's probably like a 0.1% chance GTA 6 flops, right? Like, that would be like a Cyberpunk 77 game doesn't work, tons of server issues, tons of just playability issues for like a first week.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, we can't nominate it, and that I guess could happen. But yeah, I think this is an interesting conversation about how GTA 6 should be viewed, because I think a lot of people just had it sharpied in about every category as a winner already.
Absolutely. And I don't think you can do that. I don't think it's actually possible to do that. You can't review a game of this caliber, of that sheer scope and size, in that amount of time. It's just not actually humanly possible not to do it properly. It'll be people are going to divide and conquer, right? Like just what I just said with us. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how other outlets approach this and how people approach it. You don't want to seem like you're full of shit. You got to be able to put the time in, right? So it was funny. We got our code for 007 late, which was weird. But either way, it's one of those things. If I got it 2 days ahead of time, the game is 15 to 20 hours long. I'm probably still not going to be able to play it to finish it in time.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the only thing I am going to sit down and do all day, because I have other responsibilities to take care of between family, the website, and other socials and stuff we do here for the Gamerz Theory that will prevent me from putting in 20 hours in 2 days. Right? I got to sleep. I got to eat. Right? It's just not humanly possible.
But this is 007, Drew, right? When GTA comes out, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't go with your family, right? Like that's the difference, right? Like 007 is good, yes, but GTA, I think there are going to be people out there, potentially in our industry. It's like, all right, I've got my DoorDash meals that I'm gonna have. Sorry, girlfriend, whatever, partner, wife, kids. I will not see you for a week. I have to. I'm churning out content because everybody's gonna be on top of this game. Yeah, I think You got to practice, Drew. Start skipping a meal here and there, so when GTA 6 comes out, you're ready to go 15 straight hours like we're in high school and college again.
Man, I'll be thinned right out. It'd be awesome. It's such an interesting stance. Okay, so I just looked it up because I thought so. I wanted to make sure. December 10th is the Game Awards. Do they, because of GTA 6, suddenly move the nominee discussion back, say early December? Can they pump it out then? Do they have time? Because that's a lot of prep work for the team working at the Game Awards to handle something like this, right? To take care of that measure. So, but to include GTA 6, are they able to then just, hey, you know what? We're going to give you to the end of November to take care of it.
Feel better if they did that. Yeah, I think maybe they do, right? I would say maybe we say, again, maybe you extend it a week, right? I think 2 days is not enough. I think a week probably is that at least the sweet spot. Again, I mean, it's still going to be very hard, as you said, with everything else you have to do in your life, even if it's just the bare minimum, right? Eat, sleep, hang out with your family so you're not just a degenerate, right? Like, I think that still makes it tough in a week with everything you, because the thing is, it's like GTA, right? Since it's a sandbox game, it's not like, okay, the campaign's 20 hours. I just have to beat the campaign.
Yeah.
I have to go explore the entire thing, you know, find as many little cool things as I can. Just like from the trailer, they had all these references, right? I mean, Grand Theft Auto's done a great job of kind of referencing pop culture, right?
Yep.
You have to find all of these references. It's going to be tough, but yeah, maybe that is the play, right? All right. Nominees are due on the 30th. We'll just make a quicker turnaround. I think we'll maybe have a good idea. You know, obviously, if GTA's in, right, they can also just start working on GTA, right? Because they can just say, all right, we know it's in. We're going to start working on it, even though we haven't had the nominees official. But yeah, that might be the best play. You might have nailed it, right? Just December 1st, nominees are due. We're going to do a bit of a quicker turnaround, but at least this makes it fair, kind of, because we still know GTA 6 is going to win to everyone else. Because now, if you're a 007 First Light or a Kermit Desert, you can't just say, well, they had 2 days to play that game. Like, how do they know if it's good, right? You give them a week, like, okay, you know, that's a little more passable.
But if you take a look at, dude, Rockstar is the only team that could ever move this.
Yeah. They're the only team that can do half the stuff they're doing, right? Potentially $100, no review codes, just never releasing trailers. Like, the Rockstar is the only people who could pull this, what they're doing with GTA 6 off. And, you know, props to them. Can't wait to see what they try and pull off with GTA 7.
Yeah, frig. Yeah, we won't see anything from there anytime soon. But yeah, GTA 6 is going to take hours upon hours upon hours, right? We were just talking about The Witcher 3 and the DLC, and one of the reasons why I haven't been able to finish that game is because the sheer scope of it all. Because why? It's an open world that just takes in so many different directions, and I expect GTA 6 to be nothing short of all that. So it's but it's not the only game still to come. I think what we spent 15-20 minutes on that, but it's a warranted discussion, man, because it's like, where does this fall, and how does that line up, and what does this do to everybody? Because everybody was in a panic when they were announcing, okay, it's coming out in May. Oh damn, get out the way. And then sure enough, they delayed it. People are still expecting another delay, but either way, what's to come? Wolverine from Insomniac is to come, right?
Yeah.
I have a huge hype level for that one. It's Insomniac, the creators of Spider-Man, right? And so many other beloved titles. So when we get into that Marvel superhero field, there isn't anybody right now doing it any better. That's for sure, right? There isn't anything like that Spider-Man series that we can talk about where you can even compare it to that. So Wolverine, I think is going to be a fantastic adventure. But I think it falls more into the 007 line of things where it's subjective to point A to point B, and that's kind of your deal, right? You're not going to be branching off. It's a linear story. We're not getting into this open world feel of things, but where you are getting into that open world is the Blood of Dawnwalker. That's an interesting title too. I'm looking forward to that one. Michael, where are you at with this one after you're done sneezing?
I fought it off. This is going to be a really, really interesting one. I think I'm not speaking for myself when I say 90% of titles where the hype is carried by the people's game that they worked on at an entirely different company have flopped. And that is the case here, right? It's these are people from The Witcher. Oh my gosh! Like again, most of those games have failed. Like if I had a nickel for every time I heard a game hype because they worked on a different title at a different studio, I could essentially retire and I would never have to work a day in my life. Like these games do not do well. So I am very cautiously optimistic about this game. I think it has the potential to be great. I think it has the potential to be that game that blows us all away. But I'm just so scared, Drew, that the hype I'm seeing is these are the guys who made The Witcher. Like that's a different studio. That's a different game. I'm very, very worried about the Blood of the Dawnwalker. I'm like a 6 right now because I don't want to be disappointed. I think this game could easily be a 10 or a 9 even. I know 10s are tough. I think this game could easily be a 9, but I'm also worried that this game could be like a 4, right? And so and the vampire genre, by the way, I feel like that's just another genre that we hit and it just flops all the time, right? Like there was a game a couple of years ago that just completely flopped.
It was
everyone was hyped for. So yeah,
it was a battle royale game, wasn't it?
I think it ended up becoming a battle royale game. Yeah, there was I know there was vampires involved, and it's like that genre that everyone wants to do like really, really well because it kind of hits in the movie side of things. It just never has. But I'm cautiously optimistic about this one, Drew.
Which is fair, right? The more gameplay I see, the better I feel.
Yeah, that is fair. That is true.
I think that's kind of where I'm aligning for it. I'm curious to see where it lands for a Metacritic score. Well, I'm calling it right now. 76 is where I'm thinking the score lands. I don't think it hits the 80s.
Ooh.
I could be wrong, and I hope I am, because I would love for this to really take off. Funny, because vampires aren't my thing, but this one, dude, I think this is cool. This, by daylight, you're human. By evening, you're a vampire, right? And that whole transition between the two. And then you get into different abilities because you're two different versions of yourself. I think it's really, really cool. I think there's some huge opportunities. But yes, that hype level of, we're from the Witcher side of things. Now look at us. We've gone out, and we couldn't have made this over at CDPR because we're too... Yeah, so I'm curious. I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I'm hoping we were able to check that out because I think it looks super, super cool. I've been trying to get a hold of somebody over there to talk to them because I think the game looks sick. There's definitely some opportunities to branch out and get us something else. But then you get into this whole open world fatigue thing, but... Right? Like, how long is this going to take to beat? Do I have the time? Like, I'm still working on...
Have you seen the numbers? Have you seen the early numbers?
No. What?
70 hours.
Oh, shit.
70 hours of content is what they're saying. Now, I wrote about this on the site the other day. They are going with that very interesting approach. If you're, I don't think you'd ever want to do this, right? But if you remember from Breath of the Wild, you can't just storm the castle as soon as you appear in the world. Boom, you could go beat the game if you wanted to, right? So there is going to be that option of like, I don't know if you want to do it right away, but like 30 hours in, if you're just like, all right, I just want to end the story, that is an option, right? Which I do appreciate. But yeah, I believe they said you can storm the castle right away, but you'll miss 70 hours of content. And I just want 70 hours is there's a sweet spot, and 70s. I don't know if it's it for me, Drew. I don't know.
Yeah, the older I get, the less time I have, right? It's one of those things. But
yeah,
if it's funny enough, I say that, but at the same time, like some of the games I'm playing lately, like Windrose, I'm hovering around the 30-hour mark right now, and I don't see myself slowing down, right? Like there's a lot of these titles that I'm hooked, and if it gets this hooks into me, then yeah, I'm willing to stick around, and if it can sink its teeth into me with Blood of the Dawnwalker, then yeah, I'm down, right? The Blood of the Dawnwalker is an interesting, I think, a fresh approach to something we haven't really seen as of late. That seems to be exciting. And what else is exciting though, Michael, is Fable. About fucking time we get that back in this freaking conversation.
Do we still have a release date? Do we even have anything?
We do. Yeah.
We do.
No.
Did I miss it?
Hang on. I'm now checking because
dude, there's been like probably revealed at the showcase, right? The summer showcase.
It says autumn 2026. That's where we're at. So no.
Whatever. Whatever. Talk to me after the Xbox summer showcase, right? Which it's hard to take this one because I don't even think we've seen that much, right? We had the first trailer. I don't think they put
out a gameplay video to show us kicking a chicken around and things like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like they got over 1,000 NPCs and this, that, and the other. And
they were obviously busy at Playground Games, right? With Forza, as we talked about, right? So now they have to transition. But yeah, I think for me, Fable, I can't even take seriously until we get a date, right? It's so hard when these games, especially like 2026 is this year. Autumn is 4 months, 3 months, depending on when you say August or September is the start of autumn. So I think we'll probably get something at the summer showcase, Drew. And so but we are the next game we think is going to be there. We are going to get something we're going to get a lot about is Gears of War E-Day, right? It's getting its whole own preview. So that one I can take a bit more seriously because I know it's coming out this year.
Well, and it has its own event. So they do they're doing the Xbox showcase, and then from there we're gonna get into, dude, I see myself lagging out here all of a sudden. Nah, bear with me. It'll come back. Dude, we've been experiencing some internet issues over here. It's been absolutely crazy. You can talk to Scott about it. It's just been
so brutal, man.
It's infuriating right now, but we're just trying to deal with it and. Hopefully this will catch back up because I can see myself chopping all over the screen. Yeah, I've actually got a tech coming in, but either way, that's a side story. So yeah, Gears of War E-Day is getting its own showcase following the Xbox showcase event, right? So we're gonna get a deep dive look into that, which then will solidify when we're gonna be playing that. So all of a sudden now we're getting Fable this year, supposedly, and Gears E-Day, which is a big stepping stone for the franchise to then move forward. And I'm back. All right, Michael, we're starting back out here, buddy. Let's get back into this conversation of Gears E-Day because it is an interesting situation with Xbox, I think, altogether. Because when we talk about Game of the Year, Xbox has never been in that conversation to start with. Could this be the year?
Oh, what a terrible year to try and be because one of the spots is already taken.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to get into our game of the year, or our prediction for the 5 nominees. I think Gears has to be great. And I don't know if it can do that. I think it'll be good. I know you're talking about the Blood of the Dawnwalker. I would say Gears E-Day's Metacritic score, I'm going to guess is going to be about an 84.
That's high.
I think it needs about a 90 to be considered for Game of the Year.
Sure.
I think it's going to be like one of those, they always do honorable, they don't for the Game Awards, right? But some of the honorable mentions.
Yep.
I think E-Day is going to hit that honorable mention, but I wonder if deep down E-Day maybe gets the sympathy vote to kind of break that streak, that maybe it gets put in as maybe when it shouldn't be. But if I had to say right now, I would say it would be first one out. It is kind of where, not to give away my list, but I would say E-Day right now for me is going to sit at first one out of the list, and Xbox is going to have to wait another year.
Oh man, that's interesting. I think that is definitely wow. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm excited to get into our conversation of us predicting who's in the Game of the Year conversation, right? Because it's one of those things that Gears has been fighting for so long. I know not everybody really appreciated where they went with the last one, the Gears 5, but I think this whole in the remaster or Reloaded, they called it, I think it was Gears Reloaded. Like that doesn't count.
We pretend those don't happen, we just ignore them.
It was fine. It was fine for what it was, but Gears is really meant to reset the franchise, right? To take it to the next stage and reintroduce it to not only fans of the series, but I think new fans to understand, hey, we've always had this love of Xbox and this love of Gears. Here's why. Can the coalition pull that off? I think is what becomes the biggest question. So we will see. Yeah. And then one last one, and I'm sure we're missing some. So do us all a favor, hit us up in the comments and let us know what game you're predicting and what is on your Game of the Year nominee list. But the last one to wrap this up for us, Michael, is Control Resident from Remedy. This is their latest. It's supposed to be coming out this year. Is there an actual release date? Do we know?
I think we're sitting in a Fable style generic release date, I believe. I might be wrong.
No, you're not.
But I believe it is. Yeah,
it's supposed to be out Q2 2026.
Q2. Whoa. Okay. Well, maybe Shadow Drop, maybe. I mean,
yeah.
All right, maybe that one gets posted. That one, I think, is a game that I don't think that game would ever win Game of the Year. But I think if it's a great game, I think it would make the list. right? There's always some of those games where you're like, okay, I know you're not going to win, but you deserve a spot.
Sure.
That's where I feel like Control could be. And I do wonder if it's just you look at this year. We've talked about how many titles there are, potentially maybe the best year in gaming, even if it wasn't with GTA. And I wonder if that's kind of one where it's like, all right, let's just bump. Like, let's just move this back. Because, I mean, Q2 is like right now, right? And so that is very concerning that we haven't heard much. So, yeah, I do wonder if this maybe gets a bump to 2027. Because, again, I think this, if it's a good game, which I've heard a lot of good things about the first one, I have buddies who are excited for this one. I think this definitely maybe falls in the, like, it would get nominated. It might not win, but I mean, even a nomination changes the course of your company potentially. So yeah, I think maybe this is just let's just bump it, man. Like, let's be the guys to say we don't want to fight with everybody else coming out this year.
Which, yeah, like we can look later on down the road. Maybe I'm thinking another theory unlocked as we take a look at what's to come in 2027. But I think Control has a good possibility, like you say, of getting pushed to next year. We're not quite there yet. We're still working. We've seen a lot of good things come out of it. I've seen some showcases where it's had some gameplay and I'm like, damn, man, like that looks really intense. It looks really cool. Not for me right off the hop. I know Scott from our team is all over it, so he can have it. Definitely. It's that's up his sleeve, right? Like that's calling to Scott for sure. So I'm curious to see where Remedy comes in. Remedy's always in that game of the year discussion, I feel. There's always, if they're not there, they're just out of it. So they're just such a well-known and well-done studio, right? But let's get into predicting. No, let's get into we want to do our game of the year, or are we predicting? We're going to do our version of our predictions that will hit game of the year for 2026.
Yeah, I think you know, we can't predict game of the year because I think we all know, you know, we had a 30-minute discussion about the game, right? I think we all know what the winner's going to be. But I think it'd be interesting to see the other titles that are there. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'm a gentleman. You go first.
Okay, so I think there's 3 locks as of right now. I think GTA 6 is a lock.
Sure.
Very, very hot take, I know. I think Crimson Desert is a lock. And I think Resident Evil Requiem is a lock. I think those 3 are locks. As of right now, I do not see a world that those 3 titles are not in Game of the Year. Do we ever determine, is it 5 or 6 nominees? I can't remember. 5 feels like more...
I think it's
like
5,
round numbery. 5 feels correct. I'll let you look that, but I think those 3 are locks as of right now. I really don't see a world, you know, maybe I'll go to Polymarket after this ends and put those down because I'm pretty sure you can bet on anything on Polymarket. So I think those 3 are locks for sure.
Yep. 6.
Okay. That gives me a little more wiggle room.
Yep.
I don't think Forza is going to make it. I don't think Ghost of Yote is going to make it. Again, I think Gears 6 makes me a little more excited for Gears of War. I had it in the 6 and the number after, so I don't, you know, trigger any of the parents out there. I don't want to, you know, I'm sure it's already bad enough. So I had that in that range, so maybe I'll put First Light in there, I think. I haven't got a chance to fully check it out, but I've heard a lot of good things. And the interesting one to me, I feel like recently, Drew, and they've always trying to put like an indie out there, right? Like a feel-good indie story of like, oh, this game could win. And I don't know how they're going to handle early access. It looks like in the past they have, but then there's games where like a POW World, for example, that just was completely ignored when it was in an early access. And they kind of alluded to the fact that, you know, it was early access. So I don't know. So I'll go safe. I think for the indie nomination, I think it's going to be Slay the Spire 2. I think Windrose probably would jump it, but again, I don't know how they want to handle early access. It's impossible to nail it. And so then for my last spot, I'm between Wolverine, The Blood of the Dawnwalker, and Gears of War E-Day. I think I'm going to go with we're both being wrong, Drew. I think Blood of the Dawnwalker is my last nominee. I think it's going to surprise us all. So I have GTA 6, Crimson Desert, Resident Evil Requiem, 007 First Light, The Blood of the Dawnwalker, and Slay the Spire 2, I think will be our 6 nominees for Game of the Year in December.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I'm right there with you with GTA 6. I don't think you're wrong whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's that cutoff time where we're trying to figure out what Jeff and the team over there are going to do. So we'll come back to that. So we'll say GTA 6 is in that conversation. It's definitely going to be there. From there, yeah, I want to say Crimson Desert is there. Resident Evil probably would be there too. So that's my 3 for sure. I agree with you with those ones. I will say Wolverine. PlayStation is always there. I want to say
true. That is true.
Wolverine will be there. We don't have a date, but I'm gonna say Fable's in that conversation, man. I think this is the year for Xbox.
Okay.
There is such a interesting position with Xbox and with Playground. The fact that they themselves aren't the team that initially created Fable, but yet they're paying close attention to the calling of that franchise, right? There's definitely a lot of hype that's building behind it. I think there's a lot of skepticism that goes along with that, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I'm going to say Fable. So right now I got GTA 6, Resident Evil, Crimson Desert, Fable, and Wolverine. Yes. And then my last one, I'm going early access. Because there's 2 juggernauts that came this year, was Windrose and Subnautica 2. However, it is which way do you go? As good as Windrose is definitely still got some climbing to do, but one of the titles that really kind of blew past it was Subnautica 2. As far as numbers go, right? Like 4 million copies sold, I think is what it was, right? Like that's insane, man. So I'm going to go Subnautica 2 is in that conversation for early access game of the year. So we could be completely wrong on this game of the year early access deal, but I think we've had it in the past. So I'm kind of sticking with that.
They bounced around, right? It feels like every year they have a different rule. I do want to ask you, because we have 3 indie titles on here. We spotlight the indie genre every day on our website, every time on the podcast.
Yeah.
Do you think we've hit a point where indie should get its own game of the year, or would that almost be like a slap in the face? To saying, well, you're never going to compete with the big guns, so we're going to give you your own title? Or do you think there are just so many good indies that it's almost even more fair to them to say you get your own? Do you think we should get an indie game of the year in addition to normal game of the year, or no?
No. I'm going to go with a no, only because if you take a look at the indie studio of last year with Expedition 33, they swept the show. Right?
Yeah, they're on that fence, right? Like you look into the details and you're like, okay,
indie with backing.
And heavy, indie and heavy quotations there, right? So I guess you are right. I guess technically you are correct. An indie title did sweep. I did forget. I forgot that. I forgot about all that.
There's a fine
fair
line,
enough. All
right? There's definitely muddy waters when you talk about that indie scene, right? You get everything from a solo developer all the way up to a team of 30 who are backed by big ass companies. So like, where do you place that conversation in? So how do you then narrow it down and say, hey, this is like the indie spotlight that we do each and every week here, and then on the website itself is something for us to help showcase and spread the word of these titles. But then the big ones always break out, like the Slay the Spires, right? Like the Windrose, Subnautica teams. But Subnautica backed by Crafton though. Like how do you what do you do? And then there's a whole story behind that. If you know, you know. If you don't, then go check out our website. It's all over there. But it's a weird conversation when you say indie, right? Because we had Alec from talking about Terminal War in his game, and like that's a self-funded title. So it's kind of all over the place, but it does make it hard. So I don't think you really want to like center them out, but they do have debut indie title kind of thing.
That is true.
Within the nomination categories of topics to talk about and things like that. So I appreciate that they have something to spotlight them, but for the ones that really kind of take off, let them own it. Like what was Balatro is another one, right? That's one person. Dude, like he nailed it. Guy nailed he did. That's a freaking cool ass game. So it's been interesting. So let let's eliminate GTA 6. Let's go back to this for real quick. If GTA 6 doesn't make it, what replaces that for you?
I think, because I didn't have Fable in, I think if GTA 6 is not in, I think I would give it. I'll take the cheap way out. I think Xbox would get it. I think if Fable comes out, I think it'll be Fable. I'm on the fence. So I would say that last spot, if it's not GTA 6 on my list, would go to an Xbox title. I'll say Gears of War E-Day because I'm very skeptical that Fable comes out because of how little we've seen about it. And I know that Gears of War is coming out. So if I have to put my name on something, I would say Gears of War E-Day. But I do think from my list, right, 007 First Light, Crimson Desert, Resident Evil Requiem, Blood of the Dawn Rocker, Slay the Spire 2, I think that last non-GTA game is an Xbox title. I'll put Gears of War E-Day down in light pencil, but I could easily see it being Fable. That's where I would be. What about you?
007 First Light for me. Just with the scores alone, right? I think that's... It's funny, because now I'm almost reconsidering my list going, oh yeah, I didn't put 007 on there. But... it's always a hard... Man, it's
tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely really tough. But yeah, hit us up in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what is your Game of the Year predictions. I know we're only halfway through the year. We haven't seen these titles come out, all of them yet. So there's still a lot of conversation to be had. But it's always fun to help kind of go on and predict what we think is coming, what's not coming, and what makes it, and all that kind of stuff. This is what we do here. It's always fun to chat and kind of figure that out. But yeah, December, granted, man, is not that far away. Like, I know summer's only kind of creeping up here with June.
We'll blink and it'll be July, right?
Oh, damn
it, that's how it goes. You blink and all of a sudden it's July 4th, and you're like, how did we get here?
Yeah, no, for sure. So we'll see how that goes. But dude, let's get into our indie spotlights. I got one I saw a while back, and then I was reminded of it today as I was doing some research for what we're doing. And yeah, Deer and Boy. It's not exactly the most catchiest titles I've seen, but in this poetic cinematic platformer, a runaway boy meets a fawn. As their bond grows, so does their abilities and their emotional weight of their journey, where silence speaks louder than words. Dude, it is a platformer with a very stylized art style that I always gravitate towards. Man, I saw the art, and that's what hooks me first, and then from there I go in, right? And it is definitely Deer and Boy. It's been on my radar for a while. It kind of veered off for a bit, and then all of a sudden you just kind of pop back up. Oh damn, yeah, this one looks cool. So definitely check that one out. There's actually a demo right now too, so I'm about to go download that because I didn't realize there's a demo, and I want to go play that. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I'll report back next week. No, I won't, because we got a bigger topic next week. The week after.
You put it on the site, right? You put it on the site.
I'll put it on the site. On the website. I'll put it on the site for everybody to take a look at, for sure, for sure. What do you got going on?
I got Outward 2. You turned me on to this game, took a look at it. It's a survival RPG. Look, again, I'm a big MMO guy. I'm a big RPG guy, World of Warcraft, right? And it kind of hits that little, it tickles that part of the brain for me, right? And it's got that whole commoner spin, right? You're a commoner, right? You're not a superhero. You're not like a demigod, right? You got to go out in the world. You got to explore, right? You could die, and guess what? You could just be left on the road to rot, and some guy's going to take all your loot. I thought that part when I was just reading it looked really, really cool. So definitely a game. I think if you're in that RPG, sort of that fantasy element, I think it definitely hits all of those. I'm a little, survival's not always my thing. So I'm going to be curious to see how they hit the survival. I've got buddies who joke it's like I have to drink more in a survival game than I've drank in real life, right? Like it feels like I get thirsty way more often than I ever really do in real life. So, but again, I think that if you can hit that RPG element that I really enjoy, oh man, I will put hours and hours and hours into your game. So definitely recommend, if you like that survival, that RPG aspect, check it out, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They've got me hooked. I can be a dual-wielding barbarian, it sounds like, which is always my go-to. So definitely excited for this one.
That's very cool. Yeah, I saw Outward 1 came and went. A lot of people jumped in. There's a bit of hype behind that one, so curious to see where the sequel takes off, and I know you're going to be covering this one a little bit more detail here in the near future, so I'll be curious to read that and see how that goes. But that'll wrap up today's show, Michael. That was a good long discussion about the game of the year, which I was not expecting. But when we came upon the topic, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. So yeah, always a ton of fun to hang out with you. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody else for being here as well. Go check out the gamerstheory.com website. Check out all of our socials. There's a lot going on, always something. And we're only getting started because June is about to hit us, which only means there's a ton of shit dropping. So go check out the website. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe. That always helps us here. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. You can catch all of our episodes there, as well as the website. So until next time, everybody, I'm Drew. That's Michael. And thanks for watching Theory Unlocked.